again, everyone. Today I just wanted to play with some new palettes that I've put together. My new favorite watercolor brush and a watercolor book that it was handmade that I got off of Etsy, and I haven't really tried yet, and I kind of want to use it more, so I figure if I could just play around with these palettes and the colors that maybe I would feel like using it more. So let's go ahead and get into it. First I'll show you the palettes themselves. So although this one says Da Vinci and this one says Winsor Newton, it's not a set by those companies. And in fact, there are no Da Vinci colors in either of these. There are some Winsor Newton though. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this one first. So this is kind of a rainbow palette that I put together. And it is actually, I think, mostly Winsor Newton. So, for some reason I keep doing this. I think that I'm probably a little bit dyslexic because so I put this row this way and then I put the top row, so I'd have to turn it around to see the top row, which isn't very helpful for when you're trying to find colors because you have to keep flipping it around to see which colors you have. But, so let's see. So in here I have Winsor Newton, and I have some Prima brand watercolors in here as well. They're kind of brightly colored, so I figured it would kind of go well in a rainbow palette. So I have Winsor Newton, Prima, some Holbein. I think that might be it. I think those three brands. Yeah, it's just those three brands in here. So that's that one, and then this palette I have showed to you before, but I wasn't entirely finished with it. So this is a neutrals palette. So this has a lot of Roman Schmal, it has a few core brand colors, some Holbein, and some Daniel Smith. I think those are the four brands represented in here. So a little bit different, but I think they might end up working together. The only issue is, I have discovered this problem with Winsor Newton and Daniel Smith colors not working together all that well. So I'm not sure if in practice I'll actually use these two palettes together, but I think they do kind of complement each other. So with the rainbow palette though, I do have some neutral colors still in here. So let's see. I think what I'd like to do is go ahead and not swatch, but just lay down some colors on the page of each of these and then maybe see what we can do to mix them. So I'm going to go ahead, and this lovely handmade watercolor book, like I said, I did get off of Etsy and I can't remember the seller. I will find that out and put it below, and I'm not sure if she carries these all the time. And I'm not sure what paper this is. I think that it might be no, I don't want to. I don't want to assume because I'm just really not sure which kind of paper it is. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to put this up here, and then I am just going to plop some color down. I'm going to start with the beginning with the yellows, and this brush I have been really liking. This is the Raven brush by Jackson's, and it's really super nice. It's stiff enough so that it doesn't feel like you're all over the place, but it's also really soft. It feels really good in the hand. This, I believe, yeah, so this is a 10-0 size, and this is a vegan brush, if anybody is interested in that. So these colors are so pretty, and I just thought it might be nice to kind of have a little bit of a sunny watercolor practice today of just doing some swatches. And this will be a nice first page to this sketchbook. So we started with Winsor Newton Lemon Yellow. This is Winsor Newton Aeolian. And this is Prima brand Inca. This is Winsor Newton Yellow Ochre. And this one is Prima Maui, which is just like crazy. With the Prima brand, they don't, the packaging doesn't have the pigment numbers on it, but apparently you can get that if you look it up. But I have not looked it up. Okay, and that one is Holbein Vermilion. This next one is Windsor Red. So part of the reason why I decided to do this palette is because I had taken the reds that I had in my Everyday Carry palette by Winsor Newton out because they were not working well with my Daniel Smith watercolor, but I still wanted to put them to good use because they're really beautiful colors. Okay, that one is Prima Tokyo. This next one is Winsor Newton Permanent Rose. And then we have Prima Rome. I don't have a lot of the Prima brand paints, but they are really pretty. And this paper is actually working pretty well. I should find out what brand it is. Okay, this next one is Winsor Newton Alizarin. And then this one is Prima Budapest. Okay, let's see. So I'm a little bit off here. So this is Prima Cuzco. And then I'm going to turn my little thing around. And then I have Holbein Permanent Green number 1. And I'm not wetting these beforehand, but they're pretty saturated and pigmented and wet fairly easily, at least most of these do, so it didn't seem necessary. So this is Holbein Viridian. This is Prima Jamaica. This one is Winsor Newton French Ultramarine. This one is Holbein Cobalt. That's Cobalt Hue, I believe. This is Prima London. This is Holbein Prussian Blue. This is Winsor Newton Payne's Gray. They have a really pretty Payne's Gray. This one is Winsor Newton Ivory Black. This is Prima Rome. This one is Prima Dubai. Prima Jordan. And lastly, we have Holbein's Chinese White. So I think what I might like to do is mix. I don't mix a lot with white, so let's go ahead and try a couple of mixes. I'm just going to mix on the page here. So I'm going to put down the white, and then I am actually going to try, let's see, which one is this? I can't wait too long because that white will dry. I'm going to try this Prima Rome. So the white is fairly opaque, so we're creating sort of a pinkish pigment here. Let's see. This is why I kind of don't like the white on most of my palettes, because I don't know how I feel about the mixes with white. Okay, what if I mix the white with the permanent rose? Let's see how light of a pink we can get. And see, that's pretty similar too, but it's pretty. All right, so I'm actually going to try some interesting color mixes on here. So I'm going to try Payne's Gray with the, what's this purple one? So this one's Budapest. So let me try, it's the Budapest. I'm going to try it with the Payne's Gray, which is here. Oh, and that's actually, that really gets a nice pretty purple. Okay. So I think this time I'm just going to kind of randomly go, I'm going to go with green. This is the Prima Jamaica. And I'm going to mix it with a red and see what kind of a black we can get. I'll mix it with the Windsor red. So that's more of a brown, but it's pretty. Probably need to mix it in different ratios really to get a black. But that's still really pretty. I'm going to move this up a little bit more so you can see the bottom of the page. Let's try some of these browns. Let's see, this is Prima Dubai. And then I'm going to try mixing that with the, which one's the Tokyo? I think I've already mixed with this one before, but I'll try it. It's pretty. Okay. So that, I'm getting some sort of, there's like a coating on the paper here. So this one I think is cobalt blue. Let's see if I mix that with the Jordan. Oh wow, it's a very pretty purple. All right, because I think a lot of these Prima paints are mixes of colors. So I'm going to go with the Inca and see what happens when we mix it with, let's see, let's go with the French Ultramarine. Let's see what happens there. Oh, that's a very pretty green. Sort of a mossy green. Okay, so I think I'm going to do one more so that I can fill out the page. Let's see what happens when we mix purple. And orange would be on the other side of the mixing palette. Let's go with Prima Maui, see what we get. Oh, very interesting. It's just a neutral, but it's pretty. It seems like a lot of these colors that are already in here can be mixed with colors. A lot of the neutrals that are in this palette can be mixed with other colors. Mixed by mixing two other colors. All right, so there's that palette. And let's see. That's going to need to dry for a little bit, I think. And then this one has some really beautiful colors in it. I think what I'm going to do because I'm impatient, is I am going to put paper towel up there. So if we get any bleed, it's going to go onto that. And I'll just start with the next page of mixes here. This time I'm going to put this over here. Let's see. This is going to be very different. So this is a green gold by Roman Schmal, and that's a really lovely color. The Roman Schmals are great watercolors. And that is a Quin Gold by Roman Schmal. Another Roman Schmal. And that one seemed, either the paint had some little bits in it or the paper did. That was Roman Schmal Transparent Oxide Yellow. And then, oh, and it got a little bit muddy because I have some other color there. So that is Core Naples Yellow. Transparent Red Oxide. These are all super duper pretty. And then this is Transparent Oxide Brown by Core. This is Cypress Burnt Umber by Roman Schmal. And I have Burnt Umber by Core. I have Ivory Black by Holbein. I'm going to go ahead and start a new row. This is Core Sap Green. Holbein Viridian. This is Daniel Smith Prussian Green. Holbein Prussian Blue. Those two look lovely together. You'll notice there's a little bit of overlap. This has Holbein Cobalt. Schmincke Ultramarine Finest. This is Roman Schmal Cobalt Violet Deep. Daniel Smith Rose of Ultramarine. Holbein Crimson Lake. That is Quinacridone Maroon by Roman Schmal. And since I have one more space up here, I'm just going to use that for this one, which is the Venetian Red by Core. So as you can see, these are all very neutral. So for mixes, let's see, I'm going to try Green Gold. I'm going to try that with Maroon, see what we get. Oh, that's beautiful. Actually, it's a very beautiful orange, sort of a burnt orange. Okay, so I'm going to try transparent red oxide. And I'm going to try mixing that with cobalt, the cobalt violet deep. Lovely. It's a really nice neutral. Okay. I'll go with quinacridone gold. And let's go with rose of ultramarine. Oh, that's pretty too. And part of the reason for trying to mix these two is to see how Roman Schmal and Daniel Smith go together. Seems like they go together just fine. No real issues. That really is a beautiful orange there. Okay, so let's go with Core Venetian Red, because that's a pretty strong color there. And then I'm going to try and go with Holbein Viridian, see what happens. Oh, lovely. Turned into kind of a dark green. Okay, I'm already kind of liking this palette better than the rainbow palette. So let's go with Core Sap Green. And let's try Schminke Ultramarine Finest. Oh, that's pretty too. Looks like this paper's a little absorbent, so it's really kind of dipping into the page before I have a chance to mix it. Plus these are very saturated, so that could be part of it. All right, let's try Cypress Burnt Umber. And I'm going to try that with, let's go with Prussian Green. See what happens. Beautiful. And so many of these are granulating. You can really see the pretty mixes we're able to get out of these with granulation. So let's see, let's try Core Raw Umber, which is really dark, and try that with Naples Yellow. It's basically just a lighter burnt umber. Let's see, what else haven't I used? Well, I've used these, but I'm going to try it. Let's see, I'm going to do maroon and green gold. Oh wow, that's a really beautiful orange too. Looks like a rust color. All right. Well, that's it for the playing for today. Feel free to like and or subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.